Ari Williams, also known as Rollie was killed at his apartment complex in Tampa last month.
In the middle of a Friday afternoon, a shooting at the IQ Apartments on Bruce B. Downs Boulevard. A 911 caller alerting deputies. An adult man found.
A local father and rapper shot and killed, and now his girlfriend is pleading for answers after she says an argument escalated to social media and led to her boyfriend's.
On July 22nd, 2022, the quiet of a suburban Tampa Bay apartment complex was shattered. Rollie Bands, a rising rapper with a loyal following, spent the day as he often did, engaging with fans and addressing critics on social media. Known for its unfiltered posts, Rollie's candid words often blurred the lines between boldness and provocation. That afternoon, Rollie posted a message to his Instagram story that would unknowingly seal his fate. "A lot of these N's know where I live at for real. I sleep in peace. If a N wanna smoke, I'm at my crib in 5 minutes." It was a challenge, a statement that exudes confidence, but carried a dangerous undertone. Just minutes later, Rollie was outside his apartment, walking his dog in the familiar surroundings of his home at IQ Apartments in Tampa, Florida. That's when it happened. A car pulled up, and the peace of the quiet complex was shattered. Shots rang out as a gunman opened fire on Rollie. 13 shots echoed through the air, striking Rollie in the body and fatally in the back of the head. The attack was calculated and left no room for escape. When paramedics arrived, they worked desperately to save Rollie's life. He was rushed to a nearby hospital, but the injuries were too severe. Despite their efforts, the young rapper was pronounced deceased that same day. In the span of just a few minutes, a rising artist lost his life, leaving behind a community grappling with the consequences from the life Rollie lived and the power of words spoken online. Rollie Bands was more than just a rapper. He was a storyteller. His first music video debuted in February 2021, marking the beginning of a journey he pursued with consistency and passion. His music offered a glimpse into his life, reflecting themes of perseverance, loyalty, and pain. His lyrics resonated with fans who saw him as an authentic voice in the hip-hop scene. Known for his candidness, Rollie was unafraid to speak his mind. Whether in his music or on social media, he often addressed his critics directly, challenging them with unflinching honesty. This raw, unfiltered approach endeared him to fans, but also sparked controversy, making him both a rising star and a lightning rod for tension. Despite being early in his career, Rollie Bands was on the cusp of greater success. His fan base was growing, collaborations were in the works, and his potential seemed limitless. But for Rollie, fame came with a price, one that would ultimately prove too high. The passing of Rollie Bands was a devastating blow to his family, friends, and the Tampa community. Just 2 weeks after his passing, on August 5th, 2022, those closest to him gathered at Rollie Park for a candlelight vigil. It was an evening heavy with grief, but also filled with love and remembrance.
Ari Williams, also known as Rollie was killed at his apartment complex in Tampa last month, and 10 Tampa Bay Shannon Close spoke with his family tonight about their hope for justice.
Friends and family members shared heartfelt stories about the man behind the music, a devoted father, a loyal friend, and a talented artist whose life ended far too soon. As the sun set, dozens of balloons were released into the sky, a symbol of their collective hope that Rollie's spirit would find peace. Among the mourners was Rollie's grandfather, Alonzo Noon, who expressed the deep loss felt by those who knew him best.
From birth, I knew him, of course. He was awesome. He loved his child.
As his godfather, Alonzo Nunn tells me Ari Williams was also known by his rapper name Rollie Bands. He was a father, a son, and loved by many.
It has been a lot of mixed emotions, but what happens is reality sets in, and what you have to do is deal with the moment.
The people around him love him and miss him, Alonzo said, his voice heavy with emotion. The only thing is, we wish he was here. The shock of Rollie Band's passing left his loved ones grappling with an unbearable loss. For Stephanie Augusto, his closest friend and confidant, the news felt surreal. I thought it was a joke when I was getting all the calls, she recalled. He didn't deserve to go the way he did.
I want him to be remembered as a good father, a loving friend, just by him and from Rollie Bands and his music. It breaks my heart because he didn't deserve it the way he did.
Stephanie painted a vivid picture of who Rollie Bands was beyond the music. He's very funny, goofy, and he was very motivating. He's a good rapper, but more importantly, he was a good friend, she shared. He was very caring. He was like my soulmate. That was my best friend. We called each other every day. But amidst her grief, Stephanie also pointed to the tragedy's deeper roots. She revealed that Rollie Bands knew his assailant. What began as a disagreement between friends escalated to public arguments on social media. They just continued arguing with each other, she explained. They made up, then they started arguing again and brought it to social media when it shouldn't have. It shouldn't have gotten that far. For his family, the loss is compounded by fear for their safety as the investigation unfolds. His aunt turned to Facebook to ask for donations to help cover the cost of his burial, a heartbreaking reminder of the financial and emotional toll of such a tragedy. Despite the fear and sorrow, Stephanie holds on to the hope that justice will be served and that Rollie will be remembered for the man he was, a talented rapper, a devoted father, and a loyal friend. I just hope they find whoever did this, she said, her voice heavy with grief. Rollie Bands wasn't just a rapper. He was a dreamer with a purpose. According to his loved ones, music wasn't just a passion for him. It was his life. His friends and family recalled that nearly every conversation he had was about his ambitions in the rap game. If I make it, Rollie once said, I don't want to be known as a rapper. I want to be known for helping those in need with my music. He didn't want success just for himself. Rollie's vision was bigger than fame. He wanted to uplift his community and make a difference in the lives of others. For him, music was a tool for change, a way to inspire and give back. The passing of Rollie Bands sparked a mix of grief and controversy, as the circumstances surrounding his passing became a focal point of public discourse. While some mourned the loss of a rising star, others questioned his actions leading up to the tragedy, citing his final Instagram post as a reckless provocation. Rather than offering prayers to his grieving family, many online comments took a harsher tone, suggesting that Rollie had effectively asked for it.
Rollie Bands wanted to be a fucking gangster. He wanted to be fucking He-Man, Superman, and drop his location to his ops while on live. And guess what they did?
One user stated bluntly, "Life is no video game. You're not coming back. There is no reset. Be careful of the energy you put out into the atmosphere."
They came and kicked him at his house, bro. Honestly, to look back on it, I'd be mad as shit, bro. I'd be mad as shit that that's the way because I dropped my location to an ops. You basically said, come me. You basically saying, come on, you guys, come me by dropping your location, man. And it's fucked up, though, man. It is messed up. It's wrong, man.
This sentiment was echoed across social media, with critics pointing to Rollie's challenge as an unnecessary risk. For some, his final words became a cautionary tale about the consequences of bravado in a world where tensions can escalate dangerously. From the moment the investigation into Rollie Band's hit began, authorities knew this wasn't a random act of retaliation. The timing was far too deliberate. Rollie was gunned down just minutes after taunting his ops on Instagram. Detectives immediately suspected a targeted attack. On August 2nd, 2022, U.S. Marshals arrested 25-year-old Darren Day in Lee County, Florida. He was charged with first-degree premeditated murder. But Rollie's hit wasn't the work of a lone gunman. Investigators quickly determined that a second person was involved. Just days later, they arrested 29-year-old Damon Speed, a man with a lengthy criminal record who had only been out of probation for a month before the hit. He faced charges for the hit and possession of a firearm by a felon.
Also today, 2 men charged in the murder of a local rapper are set to face a judge. Damon Speed and Darren Day are accused of killing Ari Williams, also known as Rollie Bands. It happened outside the IQ Apartments in Tampa on July 22nd.
When Speed appeared in court, prosecutors laid out their theory. Day drove the car, and Speed pulled the trigger. But the courtroom proceedings surrounding Rollie Band's hit provided chilling details of the event leading up to his passing. At first, the narrative seemed clear. Rollie had provoked his rivals, and they retaliated. But as the investigation unfolded, a startling twist emerged. Rollie, Day, and Speed weren't strangers. They were once friends. The three had reportedly been involved in a tax fraud scheme together, a plan that unraveled into a terminal conflict. According to investigators, Rollie was set to file fraudulent tax returns for his sister, with the promise of a substantial payout. The money was supposed to be shared with those who helped him execute the plan. But when things went wrong, tensions escalated, and the former friends turned on each other. In a chilling twist, Rollie didn't just broadcast his taunt to his ops online. He directly texted Speed, saying, "I'm 5 minutes away. If you're like that, pull up." It was an invitation Speed couldn't ignore. With Day behind the wheel, Speed arrived at Rollie's apartment complex, armed and ready to settle the score.
Investigators say Ari sent a text saying, "Pull up." A short time later, Ari was outside his apartment with his dog and girlfriend. That's when Day arrived with Speed, and 13 rounds were fired.
At the center of the case was Damon Jamalo Speed, accused of being the gunman who ended Rollie's life. Prosecutors presented damning evidence, including surveillance video that captured the harrowing moments of the shooting. The video showed Rollie with his hands raised in a plea for mercy, trying to flee as gunshots erupted. Prosecutors argued that Speed fired the first shots from the car, hitting Rollie before exiting the vehicle to pursue him. Rollie had his hands up, the prosecutor stated. He shoots from the car, getting out of the car while he is running away, chases him down, shoots him multiple times, and ends up shooting him in the back of the head and through the body. Phone evidence also links Speed to the crime, further solidifying the prosecutor's case. Investigators identify him as the passenger in the vehicle and the one who pulled the trigger. They determined Darren Day, Speed's alleged accomplice, was not the shooter based on the video. The shooter had tattoos covering his arms, and Day did not fit that description. Despite the overwhelming evidence, Speed's defense team questioned the reliability of the investigation. There was a direct witness that misidentified the shooter as someone who was not my client, Speed's attorney argued. However, detectives testified that the video and phone evidence pointed clearly to Speed as the gunman. Speed remained in jail without bond as the legal process continues. For Rollie's family and loved ones, the courtroom revelations are a painful reminder of the violent end to a life full of promise. Rollie wasn't just an artist. He was a father. His young daughter, Kashmir, was the light of his life. He often shared his love for her on social media, describing her as the only person I live for. Behind the bravado of his public persona was a man deeply devoted to his family. Rest in peace, Rollie Bands.